How did I know I was not a normal drinker? So we'd go out for food, things like that. And when we were going out for food, for me, it would always be about what I was going to have to drink. So having the drink was more important than what I was actually having to eat. And I noticed that I was drinking a lot more quickly than my friends or whoever I was out with. And I would always be wondering about where my next drink was coming from. I could never enjoy an outing like that because drink was always at the forefront of my mind. So um, I would obviously probably ruin it because I'd probably have a drink before the meal anyway, like at home or whatever. And I would probably end up having a drink then afterwards as well. And just, it would always turn into a sesh of on some level. So no matter what I did, it always ended in a sesh. And if I knew I was going to go to like a wedding, for example, I'd have a drink before the wedding. On my last wedding I went to, I actually took a drink of a bottle of vodka in my bag with me, which I know is not normal. Um, and I've done that at other people's weddings. I've done it at funerals. Um, Went to my best friend's funeral last year, took a bottle of vodka in the car with me, in my handbag. And yeah, it's little things like that, guys, that make you realize that you're not a normal drinker. The other thing I realized is the amount, like how quickly I drank. So I would buy a pint, my boyfriend would buy a pint or whatever, and I would finish my pint way quicker than him. And I'd have to look at myself and be like, wow, you need to slow down, because it was embarrassing how quickly I would drink my drinks, you know? And I always wanted to like order two at a time. I didn't want to like have to go back and forth the bar. I would always like try and get as much as I could all at once. Yeah, obviously I mixed it with the other stuff as well. And over time then I built up a tolerance to drink, and I started having to drink heavier stuff. So it went from drinking wine to drinking vodka, etc., etc. And I didn't care what I mixed vodka with, guys. You know, if even if there was no pop in the house on some, and I was desperate for a drink, I'd mix it with squash. You know, I didn't give a shit what I mixed it with as long as I had a drink. And if he bought crates of cider or lager, like I didn't even like Budweiser, for example, but I would finish my drink, he'd go to bed, and then I would carry on drinking. So I would carry on drinking his lager until that had gone. If there was Jack Daniels downstairs, which I don't like, but he used to like, I used to hate it, I would still drink it. I would keep drinking until there was nothing left in the house. That's how I knew that there was something wrong, you know, and I wasn't a normal drinker. Um, and I was just never able to moderate, you know. I was never able to go out and just have that couple of glasses with a meal and go home. It just ended up taking over my life. And yeah, it just did more damage than good, you know. And I was thinking about it, actively thinking about it, whenever I had a social event, whenever we would go somewhere, if we were going on holiday or anything like that, if I was ever going to an airport, it would be like, oh, it's, you know, make an excuse because we're going on holiday. I know people have an airport pint, but that would be on my mind for ages beforehand, you know. And it just used to occupy my mind, like the amount of time I used to give to it and the amount of thought and effort that went into like how I was going to get my drink intake in. um it was just sad, you know. It was sad because it really did look, when I look back, it took over my life. But yeah, if you've got similar traits to me, then you might want to kind of have a look in the mirror and think, well, just because you're not an everyday drinker, just because you're not an alcoholic in that sense of the word, and you don't wake up and drink every day, perhaps you do the things that I did. And if you've got a relationship with alcohol that is not healthy, then that's all you need to know. You don't have to call yourself an addict. You just need to know that that relationship is not healthy. It's not bringing anything positive to your life. If it's impacting your life and you want to change, you can do it. You just have to start with day one, and you have to not look too far ahead, and just take it day at a time. But yeah, that's how I knew I wasn't a normal drinker.